Cyberland. Hey everybody, we are here on Movo Mondays, week number 3. We have a house full of people, which I should actually show you, just to experience because this is new. I hope I got everybody. And we are just about to get started. So before we get started on the actual training portion tonight, I do have a special announcement to make. And it just gets me really excited about what we have going on. You know, my favorite part of being in this journey, I mean, I've got so many. Obviously, there's freedom, right? Freedom that I don't have to teach anymore. Freedom to be home with my kids. Freedom to wear comfy clothes and not feel judged that I didn't change before this event. Things like that. I mean, there's so many things, but the great part of it is that we are surrounded by people that really do have the desire to change their life, to make a difference in the world. It's not all about us, it's about what we can contribute to society and other people. And in return, we give back. And that's probably my most exciting part of this journey, is that I keep giving back, and it makes me feel so good to do so. I got a smack on the hand by my financial advisor and my accountant, but I also realize that that's what I love to do. So what Isagenix has helped me do is do more of what I love. And if giving is part of that, that's what it is. And, you know, one of the greatest ways to give back is to recognize people. And we just had an amazing rank advancement in the team this week. And if I'm missing some big ones, please let me know. But Tinya has just hit 2-star. And Tinya, you know, Tinya's been on this journey for a bit. And I remember when I met her the first day, I felt like I knew her my life. And that's the beauty of people that come into our life through this company, is that people are like-minded, they are forward-thinking, they believe in the potential of everybody, and they just send out that amazing energy and love to everyone we meet. And that's exactly what Tinya did that day that I met her, and it's continued to grow. So Tinya, I have a gift for you, and I know that, you know, gifts are not all about just giving, but I love the fact that I can share and give to you for all the work that you're doing, all the lives you're changing. Most people in this room you're not financially linked to, and you're here putting your foot forward to help everybody. And you never look at that as something to stop you. So what I've actually given you is up here. There's a money tree there. Oh, nice. And there's also a book underneath. And I just really want you to enjoy and see that money tree grow as your money grows and as your business grows with us, because this is just the beginning. It really is. Yeah. Beautiful. And there's some cards in there, because do you remember when I had posted on, we have a group on Facebook called Guilt Cleanse, and it's something that Jeffrey Combs started for people. It's awesome for anyone who has any sort of guilt in their life at all. Any sort of guilt. I mean, it could be guilt from the past, it could be anything. It's not a cleanse, like it's just get rid of guilt, right? We don't need to carry guilt around. Anyway, I posted one day about how I give a lot and that it makes me feel good because I almost feel guilty for being successful. How many of you can relate to that? You don't want to get too high above because you're afraid you're not bringing more people with you. And that's what I realized my giving was starting to almost make me feel like I had to give more to bring more people with me. It was the wrong reason to give, right? I know that. And when I had posted it, Tinya said, you never have to give me anything. I always know that you're there to support. And I actually had this book with a card inside that envelope. And that day I decided I wasn't going to give it to you that day, but it would be yours someday. Oh my gosh. So that's the history. So there's 2 cards in there, and that's the reason why. So with that, I do want to just say that Tinya will be keeping a group of people up here. Obviously, we've got lots of people. Is there anyone who knows for sure they want to see the typical launch party tonight?
I'm torn between that and the making the money part.
You haven't seen the business yet.
When you see the business, you'll be excited.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, I mean, obviously this portion's being recorded tonight. Brianne's portion hopefully will be recorded next week or in the coming weeks. And so if you do miss a portion, you will be able to get it again. So no matter what you choose, it's not going to be the wrong choice. I just want to.
Can I also make a quick announcement? I just want to recognize Shannon. Shannon, because it was only a few weeks ago that she became Crystal Director. And she did it within 3 months, like of leaving NYKO. She called me at 11:30 before we could transfer tickets. I just happened to be up. We were having a dinner break. And she said, I'm coming. And she got on the plane and she went and she got back there and she worked so hard and she's become Crystal Director and you're amazing. Yeah. Her sponsor right now hasn't been too much. But she has worked so hard and she's doing her own trainings and yeah. She's taken really nice. I
just have to say that I've had some pretty amazing people reach down to help me. They must have seen something or they're just amazing and they reach down all the time, but it's true, my sponsors have been distracted to say the least. But yeah, I wouldn't be here without you and Tara and Tinya and so many amazing leaders and mentors that have really been there. So thank you.
That's awesome. And Shannon, you know, what it is for anyone who was at the event this past weekend in Toronto, when people are serious, leaders see that, right? We're not going to drag people through this. It's not about convincing anyone of anything, but when we see someone who's really serious and wants this, we are going to do everything we possibly can to help them. And that's exactly what we saw when you came to New Year's kickoff. So absolutely. Before we split up, can Jason step up to the Yes, I did not warn you. And you don't have to do anything crazy or whatever you want to do. But
you're recording this, though, right?
So turn the music on.
Come on, Jason. We'll tell the backstory first. Can you? Jason's a teacher.
Yeah.
And of course, I didn't know Jason before Isogenics either, but he was one and only man standing here in a group of ladies months ago. The poor guy, I think all the female hormones were pushing him out the door, but he stuck around anyway. So anyway, tell us about the products and the experience that you've had.
Where do I start? No, it's been quite a journey. Put me on the spot.
I'm sorry.
It's fine. So
That's how I felt as I haven't said anything.
no, it's I started Isogenics, I guess, just over 2 years ago, and was digging for dirt, like absolutely digging for dirt, because Sheena Cooper had introduced Sarah and I to it, my wife, and we were just like, we both chem grads. We said, you know what, we should be eating whole food, blah, 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 blah. And we seriously spent 6 months, and we were on a call with Kirsten. And still 4 months later, finally I said, okay, fine, whatever, we'll do it. At the time, I was a phys ed teacher. I was at the heaviest I've ever been in my life. I was 190 pounds, BMI of 29.8. Like embarrassed in the body that I was in, and then basically cleanse after cleanse after cleanse after cleanse, and then started working out. And just the past 16 weeks have just been crazy. Like started January 1st. I'm not one to make New Year's resolutions, but I said I'm going for it this time, and I made the decision, and that's really what it comes down to. You just have to decide that you're going to do this. And I got up every single morning. There was days that I didn't want to. There was days that I wasn't feeling well, that I didn't get enough sleep. And I got up every morning and I busted my butt for a full 90 days and then some. And yeah, I think most people have seen the pictures. So. Do I really have to?
Yes, you have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. You're the boss. It's just a body.
Yeah.
It's just a body.
Yeah. Brianna, you're just telling me to. Okay.
Yeah, I'm a veterinarian.
Yeah. So you're. All right. So no, like It's crazy.
And they haven't really seen your before pictures. But
Yeah.
You had like the middle-aged spread, like, you know, like the
Yeah.
men do with the
The sympathy pregnancy weight too.
Yeah, it was sympathy pregnancy weight. That's 100% what it was. Like it was.
You want Sarah to feel bad?
I'm down 35 pounds from when I started, and in the last 23 days of April, basically from April 1st to March 31st to April 23rd, I went from 9.5% body fat to 4.6.
Yeah.
So
That's the crunch.
yeah.
Crunch time.
Like,
That's amazing.
just
amazing.
crazy. And I wouldn't believe it if I saw it myself. So.
And kudos to Sarah for putting up.
Oh yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
No, as she's been awesome. I can't thank her enough for letting me consume the amount of isogenics products that I do. But no.
She's
and,
getting her reward, Jason.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Oh, yeah.
but there's so many people in this room that just your words of encouragement and your support and everything. It's been incredible, and I know for a fact I'm in the right place, and I just want to thank you all for everything that you've done. And you guys know who you are. So
Can I add something, please?
come on over here, Tinya. Add something. Get in front of the camera.
I just want to say, this is a young man who I feel like, Tara, I kind of, got to pass the torch because I was looking for someone to help with the whole start thing. And I was looking, I just wanted to see who else, because I would be the mama hen to facilitate it and then bring people in. And from day one, Jason had his hand up and he would drive from Newmarket to come and help us with our start events. Sarah and him would trade off with kids, and then Sarah joined forces and helped them and jumped in with them. And, you have always just been so giving and so loving and such a heart that what you're doing here, what you've done with yourself, with your physical transformation is just such a testament to what you do, and everything else is like what, how you do anything is how you do everything. How many times have we heard that? This is the walking legend of that. So I'm so proud of you, and I'm so grateful to have you in my life too. Yeah.
And with that, if anybody knows anyone in Kitchener-Waterloo, Jason will be down
Oh
there
yeah,
Sunday,
so this Sunday. Yeah. So
for a start group.
yeah.
Which, for anyone who doesn't know what START is, it just means that people that are starting their life, so it's 18 to 35-year-olds. And there's a big, awesome, amazing vision about 18 to 35-year-olds creating multiple six-figure incomes within the next 30 months, right? Next 30 months? They've got the vision to create 1,000 six-figure income earners in that age category.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I think they'll blow the doors off.
I think it's like,
but
30 months or something like that.
Yeah. So anyway, with that, guys, thank you so much, and thanks for allowing us to have this time to recognize some awesome people. And obviously, every single one of you is amazing. No matter where you're at in your journey, you have so much potential. So with that, what we'll do is we'll separate into the groups then. So Tinya's group is going to be up here doing connecting. Downstairs with Brianne will be doing the money, show me the money, and in the living room we'll be doing the launch party. So feel free to take another drink and add more stuff to it if you want. I made it kind of on the weak side, so feel free. I put the tie. Yeah. We do have some viewers. Hey guys.
All right. Hey, you gonna join me? Yeah. Whatever you want to do. No pressure. You can float if you want. I gotta take this slice out. Okay. Oh, did you? Oh, good. Are you here with Tara? No, Allie. Well, oh, no. Okay, Allie. I'm signed up. Oh, great. Okay. 30 days.
Yeah.
Way to go. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm gonna act as if, so if there's yourself, you stay great. If not, then we're just still gonna go through the whole thing. Don't feel like you have to stay just. Really,
I know. Next week.
So how are you feeling? What's that? Hey, how are you?
Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too. I'm glad you're here too. It's nice to see you around again. I mean, you're around. You missed. You weren't at stuff as much. You weren't at stuff as much. You know what I mean? There was like a space between when I saw you the last few times, I think.
I don't know. I just so absorbed in everything that's going on with my cousin that I had to just
I understand.
it's been as you kind of heard a little bit with this time. Just experiencing like there was a period of time after Christmas where the girls and I were always
You're in very good hands.
So I've been on this journey of investigating and learning and seeking out help from practitioners that seem right, which was someone today, which is amazing. Like an energy therapy, it's just incredible. So
You got to some of the roots of it then? Do you think you got to some of the causes,
we
the
still,
cause and effect?
going with my gut, and those things that just press me. It's like this is okay. You have to do this. You have to do this.
Yes.
And that's just sort of where I've been going. I'm just navigating through this path of going here, going there.
Yeah.
Learning about things, and learning about cleaning up their insides and cleansing the children. Like there's nothing on that. Nothing.
That's true.
Cleansing with children. Nothing.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. So I've been, in the water, figuring it out on my own, which is fine. I totally was up for that. And so now we're on that. I feel like we're on that road of healing. We're on that path, and things are
going the right way.
I feel like I'm out of the dark.
Yeah, that's good. It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be, but it is true because no two people are physiologically the same. So even with two girls, like it's not going to be the same.
Unfortunately, there's some
Right?
So it's been a lot of like emotional healing on the past. So I've been journaling. Like almost every single day through this like a mad theme.
Do you meditate too?
Because I knew I've just started to do that again. I lost it for such a long time.
Yeah.
And now I'm starting to connect with that again. It's just awesome.
It is really good because when you can get into that space and you can have just that clear mind, literally clear mind, then you kind of allow yourself to listen and to hear what is needed to be heard.
Yes.
Makes such a difference. Yeah. That's good. Awesome. All right. You guys ready? Hey, Logan, how are you? I didn't get to say hi to you when I came in.
it's hard to get around.
You. I know, right? And Leslie? Excellent. Kristen? Cool. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys one of these forms. And I think it's printed on the front and the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, we're just going to talk through some ideas as far as how we can do things a little bit differently with connecting, okay? Have you guys ever been out someplace and you met someone, or you saw someone, or something happened, and you thought to yourself, I should really say something to that person. And then you leave, and they leave, or something happens, and you're like, I didn't say anything, and I should have said something, or you've had a situation where you know someone, they've been on your mind, you haven't said anything to them ever, or maybe you have, but you haven't followed up. And then you end up going to another event, or you see them somewhere else, and then maybe they've already gotten going with someone else, or they're doing something different, and you're kind of kicking yourself going, well, why didn't I mention anything to them? That ever happened to you?
Yes.
No.
Yeah? No, but more so when you've left a situation, you're kind of like, oh, I wish I'd said something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Okay, well, we've all been there. So I can let you know that you're not alone, because we've certainly all been there, and I've been there many occasions, and even things where I've shown up at events and there's been people there, and I'm kind of going, oh my goodness, they were on my list, and I hadn't talked to them yet. So that's why it's really, really important to think of this as you're out to, what you're doing is you're basically just working on connecting. You're just really getting to know people and understanding, what it is about their lives that could use a solution. And one of the solutions that Isogenics has to offer, right? So it's not just about, oh my gosh, I gotta go out and share Isogenics today. That's not what it's about, right? It's about really connecting with people. And, you know, last week, one of the things that I really just said is that it's really, really important. The first thing that you want to do when there's someone you would like to perhaps interact with, smile, first of all. You know, a lot of times people just get a little nervous or whatever, but you're just going to smile and you may say hello. And just on that initial, based on their response, you'll know whether there's going to be any room for conversation. You know what I mean? People will either respond to that or they won't. And you'll get your feeling. And that's where listening to what your guests are telling you is really, really key and really, really important, right? So I just want you to think about when you are out there and you're connecting, or when you go out in your day, you know, are you setting the intention at all about what it is you're looking for in a potential business partner or a potential, you know, person for your team? Do you have any of those things in your mind as to what it is you might be looking for in people? How about we throw some things out there? Eh?
Sometimes I do, and sometimes, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
When I feel like I'm coming back into that space of being business minded,
Mm-hmm.
I start thinking of those things, of, you know, who I'm looking for. Like, I'm looking for other mothers,
Right.
you know, and I'm looking for people who will look me in the eye and smile, you know, things like that, who are sort of open.
Right. So you just said a few good things there. And, you know, it comes down to what are you looking for and then what are they looking for, right? So when you think about this, you know, when we are, you know, looking to partner with people for Isogenics, because we're not just looking for people, you know, that want to eat the food, because obviously we know that everybody deserves to eat the food, right? We all agree that everyone deserves to have the stuff in their body. They may not be in that place where they're thinking that, and that's okay too. But when we're thinking about looking for people who potentially would want to partner with us in this to be able to help share the gift, you know, think about who are those people, because the reality is we do really get to pick our business partners. You're not out looking for people with a pulse and a credit card, right? You're actually looking for people that you genuinely get to connect with and bond with, that you enjoy their company, or that you can grow into a relationship, because this isn't just going to be a 1 month thing. We're looking to build this into something. We've been part of each other's lives for over 3 years. So it's going to grow into something more than that. So it's like someone who would come to your dinner table. So what are the qualities that you're looking for in that person? How about we throw some of that out?
I guess I've never actually verbalized it, and maybe I can give an example, because I remember meeting this woman, and I was walking down the street with my girls, and she was pregnant at the time, and she's walking this way, and with her little girl, and we literally, it was like a magnet, and we met in the middle of the road, and I could just see it coming. I was like, what is going on? Like, I just felt so drawn to that person,
Mm-hmm.
that it was just like, I have to meet her. And we just stood in the middle of the road, and it was like, we just had this easy conversation, and it was just incredible. So I've never actually said, I want someone who's a go-getter or anything like that, because I feel like it's too linear for my brain.
Okay.
I don't work that way. But
Mm-hmm.
if it's somebody that I just feel so attracted to, and I just go, oh my God, I have to know this person, then I know that that's the right person for me to talk to.
Exactly. I understand that, because I'm a spiritual person as well, and I've had a few instances recently. You know, one of the biggest ones is my 2 new start group that I met at the chapters, you know, the journal section. And that was just one of those things. My guts had told me, go to Starbucks, just get out of the house and go to Starbucks. And I'm like, I really don't need to go to Starbucks right now. But I heard the voice saying, no, go. So I went, you know, I heard the voice saying, you know, go to the journal section. I'm like, I really don't need another journal. I promised myself I'm not buying anymore. I promised myself I'm not book shopping because I'm addicted to books. But I thought, I heard the voice say, no, go. So I went to the journal section, and there I met these, you know, 2 young men, and it was a magnet. It was a magnet when I met these guys. Same thing on the beach when I was in Australia on my very last day. 2 women that were magnetized. We were magnetized to each other. And she said, I know the reason I came to the beach today was to meet you. You know, it's just those things. So I totally get that. But let's look at, so what is it about those people that has you magnetized? And it might be the mom, it could be the children, it could be, you know, can we throw some other things out there? Like for you guys, what do you think? Because you may be a little more linear than us hippie love children over here. You know what I mean? So what are you looking for? You're looking for someone who, first of all, is going to smile at you and acknowledge that you're smiling at them perhaps, right? What else? Friendly. Friendly. There we go. Now we're breaking the seal on it. What else?
Someone who's open.
Open. Perfect.
Even like open body language, you know, when somebody's closed and they're kind of, you know,
Yep.
arms crossed or they look cross or
Like approachable almost, right?
People who seem to be like very effective communicators. I seem drawn to.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. I'm really attracted to people that are organized. And, you know, when you're first, and this is when we talk about connecting, it may just not be connecting when you're out in the public and you're meeting someone for the very first time. It could be someone that you're connecting with who you maybe haven't seen in a while, or maybe you've had a meeting at a, you know, at a get together or something like that. And there was something that you thought that person would be a really great partner. You know, they're organized, you know, they're great. We had a great conversation. You know, I was just kind of attracted to their personality. You know, they're very friendly, they're very open, that kind of thing. You know, people that are efficient, you know, people that are busy, those can be great qualities that I personally look for, because I know that if they're busy and they're getting things done, they'd be a great person to work with. And if they're just busy and they're accomplishing nothing, that's not necessarily. But it doesn't mean that they're not, you know, deserving of isogenics. It just means that it may not be something that you would look for as a business partner. So I'm just going to put down here effective, you know, sort of with their busy, I guess. Busy but productive. Can you think of any other qualities that you might be looking for in someone that you were looking to attract? So here's the thing. I'm thinking in terms of, you know, when we wake up in the morning and we think to ourselves, you're not thinking to yourself, well, who am I going to get today? You know, or, you know, who can I help today? Or, you know, what would I like to attract today into my day? What's my intention for the day? And what I'm looking for is I would like to help you guys get to the point where you're creating an affirmation for what you're looking to attract into your business. And that's where Allie just explained and shared that her affirmation that she wrote that day, the very next day, attracted her 2 people into her business. So it's a very powerful tool, you know, to have this affirmation. And to give you an example is when I was first, it was actually about 1.5 years ago. I was, you know, sometimes we take the foot off the gas, and this is something that I didn't do a little speech after Tara presented me with the beautiful gift. I was a little speechless, but I remember there was a point in time where I wasn't getting frustrated, but I just thought, I am not attracting what it is I'm looking for. I'm not attracting much right now, but I'm not attracting what it is I'm looking for. And I thought, and I remember, I think it was Cindy Little or somebody who told me about this affirmation card that they did, and I already did affirmations, but I wasn't doing one for what I was looking for, attracting into as a teammate. So I was great at, you know, at helping product users, but I wasn't attracting, you know, business partners. And so I created the affirmation that I'm so happy and grateful that I'm attracting the most amazing, organized, like-minded, fun, energetic business partners into my team who get it. And I memorized that. And so every time I would have a negative thought, oh, you know, you haven't signed anyone up lately, you know, you're not, whatever was going on, this noise in my head, I'd be like, stop. And I would say my affirmation. And since that time, you guys, like I promise you, it has just opened up a world. And it's not necessarily people I've attracted, but they've been attracted into the team because of that. So it's very powerful to use affirmations. So this is where I'm going with this, is I would like to get some words down on paper as to what it is that you're actually looking for, attracting, and then I'd like you guys to write yourselves, you know, a 2 to 3 sentence affirmation. And if have you done affirmations before? No? No? You can say no, it's okay.
Yeah.
You've done them before. So what it does is it's affirming what it is you're looking to attract. And instead of saying, I wish, I want, I hope, you know, I'm looking for, it's, I'm so happy and grateful that I've attracted them. So you're putting it in the now, like it's already happened now, instead of putting it in the future. Does that make sense? Cool. So I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes, and I want you to put a couple of things down on paper as to what it is that you might be. Do you have paper there? I have some blank sheets if you want some. Hey everyone at home, hope everything is going well there. You're in your jammies, having a good night. You need a blank? Okay. You're good, Logan?
I'm good.
You want some? Sure. Yeah. Do you want the book, actually? Kirsten? Is that helpful? Do you have a pen? Yeah.
Just found one.
Awesome.
Was waiting for me.
So throw some words down there, start to think, and if you're already ready to formulate the affirmation, and you can start it with, I'm so happy and grateful now that, or you can say, you know, whatever words feel good for you, because we all speak differently. Just think about what that might sound like for you. And I won't ask you guys to share them, but if you want me to, if you have any questions on it or you want help, let me know.
Everyone wants to see the money.
How you doing? Give you another minute. Do you need it? Do you like it?
Gonna join us?
So what they're doing is they're working on an affirmation to what it is that they're looking to attract into the business. So that's not actually on here, but I'm so happy and grateful now that, or, you know, I've attracted the most amazing best business partner into my business. Whatever you're looking for. Shredded. That's Peter Kelly's word, shredded.
In terms of business or anything?
Well, you can do anything, but they're working on business, but you can do whatever.
No.
Yeah.
I think it's time to start focusing on my business.
Sounds like a good idea. You guys good?
Where's it start?
I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful that I've attracted business partners that are qualities. Worded them.
Great. In your practice, you know.
Heart-centered.
What's that?
Heart-centered.
Heart-centered.
I did that draw, so that had to be the best way for me to describe it.
Perfect. Yeah, it feels good.
And thank you for saying people who get it, for sharing yours, because I've got that in there. Because
True,
they
eh?
get it and go for it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Excellent. Okay, so I leave that there. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting when you think about it, right? So really solidify that, and I promise you, solidify it and post it in a few places, and actually, you know, do some mirror work. Go to the mirror, look at yourself in the mirror, look at yourself in the eyes, and do your affirmation, and see if it feels right for you. If you kind of get a weird feeling, well, you might feel weird looking in the mirror talking to yourself anyways, but if you get a weird feeling because it's not sitting well, you may need to change some of your words, right? You might need to change some of the wording for you or something.
Do you mind if I share something?
Please, go ahead.
So yeah, just after going to the MMI, the Millionaire Mind Intensive, they do like a whole thing on affirmations as well.
Yeah.
And I had started kind of doing it way back right at the time, and then kind of slipped away from it. But like the last 30 days of like my big push to finish off like this challenge, I was not only like visualizing, but also doing like affirmations, like after my workouts, doing like an affirmation before I would go and have my post-workout shake. And like saying specifically things, like specific results that I wanted to get, and I just shattered them, like absolutely shattered them. So it's very, very powerful, and it does work. Like
Yes.
it really does work.
Mhm.
And I would tell you like 2 years ago, I'd be like, this is all a bunch of hokey. But,
Oh yeah.
But seriously,
It gets in you.
yeah,
somehow.
it becomes
brain
part.
training.
It becomes part of your body. Like it's just innate, right? It's crazy.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've changed your language. Like you've literally changed you silenced the critic.
It's like
really,
Napoleon
is what it
Hill.
is, silencing the
Yeah,
noise, right?
it's
I
the
find
whole Napoleon Hill. Like whatever the mind you can conceive and believe, then you can achieve it, right?
Yeah.
So,
Completely.
I find when that critic turns on, I go into the bedroom and I close the door. Like the girls get busy with something, and I'll stand in front of the mirror and I'll say my affirmation. I actually do tapping with it, so I don't know if you
Yeah,
guys have ever heard
that's
tapping,
good
but
too,
I
yeah.
do tapping, and I'm like, because sometimes I get so overwhelmed with them that I'm like, I just need that little piece of something to get myself centered again and get my mind off that yucky stuff that's that noise, like you said.
Oh yeah.
And it just refocuses me on, okay, this is my purpose. So
Hmm.
I haven't done that in business yet. So this is perfect.
Great. Props. Good job. Have you guys heard of the tapping technique?
I have, but I don't really know.
A little bit. There's a couple of really great videos on YouTube that you can check out, the tapping technique. And have you heard of it?
I have,
You know
I
it?
haven't looked into it.
Yeah, I haven't done too much of it, but I have had a couple of sessions, and it's incredible because it just does a total pattern interrupt on whatever is going on. I use a lot of breathing. So for me, if I'm starting to get into a little bit of a tizzy and I'm starting to get into a thought pattern, I'll just take a deep breath and I'll actually say, release, as I breathe out, and then I just feel myself go. So the breathing is good too. So yeah, all these little things are awesome, right? They're all part and parcel, because it's not just about, reading on paper or writing on paper and learning the skills. It's got to be felt, because people don't really care what you say. To be honest with you, they want to know, they want to, feel from you what you're saying, not just hear the words, which is really, really key. Cool. Okay, so you promise that you will write an affirmation card, and you may post it in a few places, and that you will utilize it. Can you promise me that? Okay, great.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys. That's awesome. And if you want to share it, I would love to hear it. And if you don't want to, that's cool too. Okay. The other thing I wanted to touch on, I just wanted to ask you, I could sit up here and go through this stuff is all in, exogenicsbusiness.com. Some of this is some of the stuff that the Aussies are using. But I wanted to ask you, before you leave this time with me, is there anything specific that you would like to take away? Is there any specific challenges that you're having? Or is it just a general, I get out there and I just don't know what to say? Is there anything specific? Any portion of connecting or that kind of thing that you feel nothing specific?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I guess sometimes what I find is challenging is like, I can do those things, I set the appointment, and then I go to do it, and nobody answers the phone.
Okay.
And then nobody answers the phone, and nobody answers the phone, and then I'm like, do I just keep calling this person time and time again?
So are you leaving messages?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it could be when you leave a message, it could be the phrasing that you use when you leave a message. Do you guys mind if I jump around and just answer this question, because it's important to Chris right now? There's different methods that you could use. You can sort of pick how many times you would like to follow up. I follow up until they drop an F-bomb on me, basically, or tell me no, they're done, right? Pretty much, like they're not off my list until they're off my list. You know what I mean? So, but when you follow up, that's where in your phrasing and posturing yourself. And if it's something where, they were looking for information at one point in time, they were dealing with this situation, can you give me an example of, what they were looking for and maybe what the conversation was or something like that?
Oh my goodness.
Do you want me to make one up? I can make one up.
Okay.
So say there's someone who, you know, she was really struggling with her health. She was feeling exhausted. Energy was terrible. You know, she really was looking for solutions because she was just really getting frustrated because she's wasted a lot of money and a lot of time on stuff that hasn't worked, right? And so she was adamant that she really wanted to do this. But then you share information, you set a follow-up appointment. She's not around, she's too busy, she can't talk. You're following up, and you're not able to connect. What I might do is set myself sort of an endpoint on it and say I'm going to make one more phone call. And I would say, you know what, hey, this is Tinya, and as promised, I'm following up. I know, you know, how important it was to you and how serious you were about making some changes in your health. And because I care about you, I really want to make sure that you've got all the information you need to make the decision. So it would be really great to communicate with you to make sure that you have that information before you make your decision. And if I don't hear back from you, that I'll know perhaps you're not ready or that this isn't for you, and that's okay. But because I care, that's why I'm following up. I would just say, you know, I always include the because I care, because you do care. You know, that's who you are, right? So you'd say that. And then probably they're gonna feel a little crappy because I haven't called you back. Maybe and maybe not, right? It doesn't matter. But then they're probably gonna get back to you.
And I think one of the biggest things too is just not to make assumptions. Like we've had a person that we've been following up with and resending like message. And then she's like, she just got back to us yesterday and said, look, I'm not ignoring you guys. I will watch the video. It's like, we just have been going through something. So it's just really important.
Yeah,
to,
totally.
Because if you're thinking that, it's going to come out like, oh, they're just blowing me off. And then you like go and pick up the phone and you call them. That tone will show up in your voice. And like, even if like you just,
but I think
you're not meaning to be mean,
no,
it
totally.
will show up and you'll just, it's just can come back to bite you sometimes. So.
And that's where when you say, but when you preempt it with because I care, you know, then can you just let me know that you're okay? Like I've done that before as well. Because I care, I'd just like to know that you're okay. Did you receive the information? Do you have any questions? That kind of thing. And, you know, it's all in how you say it. So you'll decide. I mean, your guts will tell you too, I think.
I think I like that you're saying because I care, because that feels more authentic, right? Than trying to navigate. Well, I'm calling again to follow up.
It's mechanical, yeah.
Well, and I think too that, you know what, people do get busy, but it, you know, people, it's okay to just drop a text and say, Kirsten, I'm really sorry. I'm not ignoring you. I just have a lot going on right now. And you're like, okay, I totally get that. Thanks for letting me know you're okay. You know, I'm here when you're ready kind of thing, right? So, yeah, cool. Was there anything else that you guys had? Did anything else come up for you while we were having that conversation? No? Okay. All right, you girls, you guys are nice and quiet over there. Authentic connection. So when we go through, I'm going to go through the six-step system. I don't think you guys have this one because I sent it to Tara late, but it is in isogenicsbusiness.com, I believe, and it's actually, yeah, it's a University in Action. It's one of the forms from that. So I will actually post the link on Tara's page. See it, I always forget the name of it. See it when you believe it. Okay, so I'll post it on there so you guys can get it. So basically, when it comes to connecting, you know, number one, it's about the authentic connection, which I think is, you know, not really rocket science. So an authentic connection, it's about really helping plug into, again, what it is that's really important to them. So for instance, if you look on the easiest conversation in the world, this one with the 3 smiley faces, where it says number 1, smile, and there's 3 smiley faces. With the formula on it. You see it? Okay. So, you know, when it comes to, again, connecting, you know, the quote at the top, David Wood says, finding common ground is the easiest way to build rapport, and building rapport is the quickest way to build trust. When people know, like, and trust you, they're much more open to talking and taking a serious look at your business. So again, if you're out connecting, that's where you're just looking to build rapport with someone. You're just looking to find some common ground, okay? So obviously, the first thing you want to do is just even smile at the person. You can say hello, and then you're going to start to perhaps ask them some questions, right? It's about asking them some questions. So where are they from? Where do they live? And this is where you can go through the formula. And the formula, if you remember formula in your head or even form, it can help you. If you're thinking, what do I ask them? then start to think, you know, the F is for family and friends. You know, or are you here with your family, or, you know, are you here visiting? Or if they say, no, I'm from, you know, New Brunswick, but I'm just here for the weekend. Or are you visiting family? Or are you here for work? Or like it can bring up some different things, right? The O could be occupations. You can ask them about their occupation, past, present, and future. The R stands for recreation, so sports or hobbies. You know, oh, it looks like you look like you just came from the gym. Do you work out? Or, you know, whatever, something like that, right? And then M stands for meaning, you know, or mission or money. So it could be, you know, asking them what they do. It could be asking them what they, you know, I'm just trying to think of some examples. So if you were out, I don't know, throw some examples at me at where you might be looking to talk to someone that you're, you know, you want to connect with. Where do you go? What do you do? You guys don't go out?
I take my kids around.
Take your kids everywhere. At the park. Yeah. You're at the park. Okay. So is there an example of a conversation that's come up where you thought you could have, you know, maybe gone a little further with the conversation, or?
I haven't really totally started, like, I'm still new at this, so I haven't
Yeah.
started to kind of touch base with other people about this yet. Like, I'm
Okay.
still.
So do you talk to people?
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you talk to them about?
Pretty much, well, if it's at a kids function, the kids. And,
Right.
you know, their lives and.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect, right? So when you're talking about kids and you're talking about their lives, you're talking about activities. It probably comes up that you're busy, that you're running around, you're driving kids all over the place.
Programs are expensive.
Programs are expensive, all those things, right? And those are all ding. Those are little ding moments, because those are like, okay, I have a solution for that. Okay, I have a solution for that. So, and this is where, when, say you had a mom that said, you know, yeah, I'm so exhausted because I'm driving the kids out here, there, all over the place. And if your, you know, experience was that you have more energy now, you can say, you know what, I understand how you feel. You can say feel, felt, and found. I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. But what I found was that when I changed things up with my nutrition, I really felt a lot better really fast. And that could be like, oh, well, what did you do? Well, if you want, I can send you some information. It's a whole program, you know, or even you could say, you know, I don't actually know a lot about it, but I just know it really works great. And I'd love to, you know, I'll get my friend on the phone with you who can help you with that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, these are all ways you can kind of open into it. Yeah. But just even to practice listening right now, without even trying, you know, to offer booking an appointment or sending them something or everything, just practice right now listening. Mm-hmm. And listen for the solutions, because don't worry about what you have to say to follow up right now, hon. Like, just listen, because you can, and it's okay, because I mean, if they're meant to be someone who's going to join you in this, isn't it crazy the universe works that they're going to end up in your space again, and that they probably, you know, that will end up working that way. So, and then the U is for open-ended questions. You know, again, do you bring your kids here all the time? You know, where do you guys play soccer? It's not a yes, no answer question. You would just ask an open-ended. So it's discussion, right? Mm-hmm. And then L, listening. Again, like I just said, listening to what you heard. And then the A is, this is the magic wand question. This isn't going to apply every time. Okay, David Wood teaches us that you ask them, you know, if you can wave a magic wand. If you're at an event, or say you're at like a party, like a house party or a function or something like that, and you're getting into a really great conversation with someone and you feel that there's a really good connection there, you know, and they're talking about the fact that they're working at this job and they work a lot of hours, you know, but they did get to go on this trip one time, and that they would love to be able to travel more and that kind of thing. That's where you could say, well, you know what, let me ask you a question. If you were to if I could wave a magic wand right now over your life, and money and time was no issue, where would you want to go? You know, and to ask someone that, it's like some people are dumbfounded because they've never thought that.
They've never heard that before.
Never heard that before. And for some people, it might be kind of crazy. And if they don't know what to say, that's where you could say, well, you know what? You know where I want to go? I want to go to whatever. And as soon as you start going into it a little bit, they're going to be like, oh, yeah, I want to do that too. And, you know, then it sort of gets everybody excited and going into conversation. So those are just some ideas as to how you can get the conversation rocking. Does that help? Okay. And sorry, I just wanted to see if I'm not usually a paper kind of girl because I just kind of wing it, but that's kind of how I work. That's how I roll.
I know how you roll.
You know how I roll. Okay, so pretty much everything there on the back is if, you know, you wanted to sort of do a sample conversation, like you could actually fill in some of the blanks. And we won't necessarily do a practice on that right now, but here's another method that you can use is when you are speaking to somebody and you're, you know, again, working to create that connection, there's the acronym formula, or even form for short form, you know, family, friends, occupation, recreation, and then money, meaning, mission, you know, whatever their purpose is, or, you know, whatever they might like to do as contribution or something could be part of the M as well. You can also think about CAPI, okay? And CAPI is another acronym that you can follow up, you know, once you've got some ideas from them about form. So if you, again, we'll just use this example here where the mom's really busy, running the kids everywhere, super tired. This is where you can say, there's different things that you can say. And I'm going to share some of my favorite openers. Maybe you guys have some that you can share as well. There's no rule on it. What's going to happen is that you're going to start to just practice, and you're going to start to find what feels really good for you, okay? So for myself, I really like to say, well, look, I understand how you feel because I felt the same way. And what I found was that, you know, like I said, when I changed my nutrition, or, you know, when I, you know, a friend of mine shared something with me that made a difference for her, and it's totally changed my life, you know, or it's totally made me sleep a lot better, or whatever, you can say, I just feel so much better. Then if, you know, they may kind of come back with, well, what is it? And you can say, well, you know, I don't know if it's of interest to you, but I can send you some information if you want to take a look. And then, you know, I can follow up and you can tell me what you think, you know, what you like about it. So I like to say, I don't know if it's of interest to you, you know, but, you know, if you're open to taking a look. And if you ask someone if they're open, usually people don't like to say they're not open. Usually, okay? That some people may be a little bit hesitant or skeptical, and that's great, because we like people that like to make decisions for the right reasons. That's okay to have some skepticism. So that could be, you know, one way that you initiate the conversation, or initiate getting some information in front of them, okay? Another way could be to, you know, to say to them, well, if I could show you a way, you know, that you could actually work less hours and be with your kids more, is that something that would be of interest to you? And some people might be like, well, yeah, you know, they might be a little bit like, yeah, that'd be cool. Or some people be like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, what is it, right? And that's where you can say, well, what's the best email? What's the best phone number for me to reach you at? I'll send you some information and I'll, you know, we'll connect. Is that helpful? Another thing that you can do is you can share your story. So 30-second story, we've had the chance to practice that. You've got the chance to practice that, right, Luke? Have you been to any of the events where you've got to share your 30-second story? Okay, so here's the secret formula, okay? You're gonna write this down, okay? It's all you're gonna do is you're gonna think to yourself, if I were to, you know, keep it very brief in 30 seconds. So if I said to you, it's Leslie, right? Yeah. So if I say to you, Leslie, you know, we're out, we're shopping for kids. Oh my gosh, like the kids are playing baseball, they're playing soccer, they're playing this. You know, I'm so exhausted, and now I've got to go to this wedding, and my dress doesn't fit, and I'm freaking out. You can say, well, I lost my train of thought. You can say, I understand how you feel. You know, I felt the same way. Is it okay if I share with you, you know, about my story? Or what's that?
Something that worked for me.
Yeah, it's okay if I share with you something that worked for me. Before I would say before, you know, I was feeling. So before I was feeling, you could say before isogenics if you want, but you could say before I was feeling, and then you would go blah, 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 exhausted, you know, puffy, gross, my clothes didn't fit. A good friend of mine, so-and-so, introduced me to a nutritional program, or you could say isogenics if you want. And I was able to, whatever, you could say, or now I'm feeling, or I was able to, or whatever fits for you in there. And as a result, I've been able to help people feel the same way, or be able to help people get the same results, or, you know, I've been pretty excited to help other moms like me, because we deserve to feel amazing in our bodies too. Something like that, you know what I mean? So before, you know, how I was introduced, how I'm feeling now, and you can add the last little bit and what I'm really excited about, okay? So that's the 30-second story, sharing your story. There might be, you know, an opportunity to share your story. right? The magic wand question is another one that we can use in here. So I'll just say 30-second story. Magic wand question. Again, you know that you're not just going to be in a grocery store and just go, hey.
You could.
Yeah, like someone at the check-in, right? You know, their kids are screaming, they're looking at the candy, they're trying to get them out of the store. If I could wave a magic wand over your life right now, they'd probably say, take my kids away.
Be a good question for the kids.
I know, right? Yeah, that's a great question.
Stop them from the candy.
They'd be like, I want all the candy. All right, so that's another one. There's also the asking, what do you do? Right? So this is something that we spent some time on at the business. Were you at the business mastery event, Logan?
No.
Have you done the practice on the question, what do you do? Have you seen that before?
Oh, and
Have you
then
heard of that?
it kind of turns around and it sounds like you'd be good at what I do. Is that what you
Well, that's actually another great tool as well, but more in terms of like if I said to you, you know,
Oh,
what's
What
that?
do you do, Tinya?
Well, I'm a fitness specialist and I'm a holistic nutrition coach, but what I'm so excited about is that I really get to help people transform their whole lives from the inside out.
Oh, that's pretty interesting. How do you do that?
So I can share some information with you if you like. We could get together for a coffee. I don't have a lot of time right now. Would that be okay if we connected?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. So something like that. So what you do is you could say, well, you know, so what do you do, Logan?
I'm a student right now.
Okay. So what really excites you?
So what really excites me is sharing health and wellness with and wealth with those around me.
Awesome. Perfect. See, just something like that. And it's something that you can, you know, practice again so that it's a great fit. Jason, what do you do?
Well, I'm a high school math teacher, but what I'm really passionate about is helping young families escape the rat race and have a plan B, just in case, that could potentially one day become their plan A.
Sweet. That sounds amazing. You know what? Do you have one? So Kirsten, what do you do?
I'm a mom, but what I'm really passionate about is helping women connect with their purpose.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's how it goes, right? Pretty cool, eh? So that would be another way that you could, you know, it's kind of, they call it the hook, but whatever, where you're actually creating curiosity and then they're looking for more, right? Okay. So then it's, sorry, go ahead.
Another thing, after you've said that, instead of just like pause and wait, you can just ask them another question. It's like completely off topic.
Yeah.
Because then they'll come back to it. If they're interested, they'll come back.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. Because if you just like leave it out there, like it's hanging, sometimes it's just like awkward and really. So you just say, and then you just go on like, so how old are your kids or whatever? Like.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. It's a great point. Thank you. So one of the most recent examples was when I was on the beach in Australia a little while ago. There was this woman who was a massage therapist and she had her little boy there with her. And again, it was kind of just one of those things meant to be at that place at that time together at the same time. And she had asked me, are you here visiting family? And I said, no, actually, I'm staying with friends, but I said, I'm here partly for business, but partly for fun. And I'm like, how old is your son? And then I started asking her about her son and everything like that. And she's like, so you're here, what's your business? Like, how come you're so far from home and you're here for your business? And I said, oh, I actually have my own business and I work from home, but my home actually can move because it is an online business that's global. And I said, it's a health and wellness company. And then I said, so do you and Kingston come here often? And I just went right back to him, and focused on him. And so she just kept wanting more and more and more and more and more. And so, so that's the whole thing. It's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Is that it's great to keep, it's again, creating curiosity and open-ended questions, right? Get really good at asking questions.
More about that other person too, because then I start to get out of my own head and I get into my heart because I want to know about that person. Yes. When I try to just say, oh, I just want to create curiosity, then, it's dead in the water. But when I really want to know about that person and know about their life, then it totally changes the way I'm thinking, or gets me out of my head and into focusing on that person and really getting to know that person. And then it does naturally just create more curiosity. Oh, what about that thing that you said before?
Completely.
It's easy that way.
It is so easy that way. And that's exactly
for me, it's easy that way. It just makes the whole thing just natural and easy. there's no pressure on myself to try and get someone.
No, totally. That's right. Exactly. That's exactly right. And when I was asking her these questions about her son, her little boy, I was thinking to myself, I wonder if she's married. I wonder, what her situation is, that kind of thing. And, she was a single mom. She was living with her parents. She's been through a bit of a rough go. All of this came because I was asking about her son. All the questions started to be answered. And it started to help me really, see a vision in my mind for what this can do for her. Obviously it's her decision, but, to see, again, exactly what it was for her that this could do. Because it's very easy for us to be like, oh my gosh, it'd be amazing. You're so great at this. You'd be great at what I do. And it's like, yeah, but they may not be interested in it, and that's why, again, that's a really good point. Yeah. Awesome. All right. So I think, and then there's also, we look at what the direct ask is. So, if I could show you a way, or so someone is saying, one of the examples that I have is that a friend had someone that was kind of complaining, well, you know what, I can't afford organic food. I can't afford the program. But they're buying this other garbage, right? They're spending money on this other stuff, but they can't afford to do isogenics. And they're complaining because they don't have the money, they don't have the time. And it's like everything, right? All the 4 solutions could have been answered right there. So I just said to them, look, I care about you, and I care about the fact that you're feeling that you can't afford good nutrition, and I care about the fact that you're struggling financially. So if I could show you a way that you would be able to afford great nutrition, actually even, get really great discounts or not even pay for it, help people you care about do the same thing, and help you so that you're not working so many hours, and when you do, you feel amazing, would you be open to taking a look? And so that is, if I could show you a way, blah, 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 would you be open? Okay, so it's about inserting whatever it is that they've mentioned. And I went on to a lot of different solutions, but it could just be one thing. Well, if I could show you a way how you could increase your performance for your 5K run, would you be open to taking a look? If I could show you a way, what would change your world? As far as, you're struggling financially, how much money would make a difference for you? Oh, like what, $500? Would that change your world? Oh, that'd be amazing. So if I could show you a way that you could bring in an extra $500 into your family budget, would you be open to taking a look? So that's a really great way to get some information as well, and to be able to set something up to be able to get some information in front of them. Okay, is that helpful? All right, so if I've got everything covered on that. And something else you can do is that as you get more into it and you start to, connect with people and you're feeling really comfortable, everyone talks about sharing the vision. For some people that have been doing this a little bit longer, it's easier to share the vision. It's easier to share a vision when you have a vision, right? Because if you don't really have a vision, you can't really help other people find the vision. So focusing on, developing that for yourself, but also then starting to, again, with the questions that you're asking people, help form the vision in their minds. And I'm going to give you an example of a person, one of my business partners who was over the other day. And we were having this conversation. She works really hard. She works all the time, and she works really, really hard. And I was asking her some questions about, because she wants to build the business, but she's not using the schedule and putting time into her schedule to make it happen. There's a bunny rabbit up there. Sorry, squirrel. There really is a bunny. Anyways, so what I was doing was asking her questions, because she, her why was she wanted to work less. Her why was because she doesn't want to be, the studio as much. So I was like asking her all these questions, and she was saying how, she keeps working hard. She doesn't want to disappoint the people in the studio, blah, blah, blah. So feeling like she was invincible and all this stuff. And I totally relate because I was there. Then I said to her, where did you get that character to work hard like that? And she said, oh, from my dad. She said, my dad worked so hard. My parents worked so hard, but it's so sad because my dad's body is failing him. I feel bad because him and my mom have to live where they don't want to live. He's still working. And then she'd never shed a tear before. And it was starting to come up. So I said to her, that's interesting. That's interesting that your dad works that hard. That's interesting. And I said, because honey, you're doing the same thing. And she was like, oh my gosh. And it just started to come up and the floodgates opened. And I said, there's your why. There's your why right there. And then we started to talk a little bit farther. So that's why asking the questions is so important, to be able to help them really get to. It's not just about working less and having more time. It's about why. Why do you want to work less? Why do you want to have more time? Right? Because you want to help the people that you love, because you want to have the, you know, the freedom to be able to choose if you want to work hard or not, right? So it just, you know, it comes from, why are you getting at me like that?
No, it's just because I know who it is.
You know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome. Like,
I know. I know. And now that she's let that go, watch
awesome.
what happens. Watch what happens. So I hope that helps a little bit, you know, as far as helping people see the vision. So when it comes to setting the appointment, how many of you have, you know, can converse with people, you know, don't mind asking some questions and that kind of thing, and then comes to setting the appointment and it's kind of like, how do I do that? What do I do? You know, or the follow-up is the stuck spot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, right? I hear you, because I totally understand. So yes, that sometimes can be the missing factor, right? So setting the appointment. So it says to use the set appointment template. So basically, it's just telling me to basically send them information, okay? Use the right tool. So when it comes to setting the appointment, this is where, when you're having a conversation with them, so for instance, we'll come back to this one, Leslie, where you're in the park and you're speaking with the mom and she's feeling exhausted, running around, driving the kids everywhere. And you've said, you know, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way. You know, is it okay if I share with you a little bit about my journey? Or is it okay if I share with you my story? And you'll share your 30-second story. And she's like, oh my gosh, well, I'd love to learn more about that. This is where you can say, well, I would love to send you some information. What's the best contact phone number and email for me to send it to you at? I'm going to follow up. That's why I would like your phone number. And when will you have had a chance to check out what I send you? I know you're really busy. It'll take 10 minutes. Okay, well, I think maybe tomorrow night, once I get the kids to bed, I can, you know, have a look at it. Okay, awesome. So if I call you tomorrow at 9, will that give you time to have had a look at it? Perfect. Okay. So then you set that appointment, right? And you just confirm it and make sure that that's it, right? Anything else you guys would add on that?
And getting them to say what the appointment time is kind of more
Have
powerful.
them repeat it.
Have them repeat it. So, and then you repeat it like 2 or 3 times as well, just to make sure. So for sure by 9 p.m. you will have seen, and then if they have an excuse then that know that they can't, then you circle back and you find a new time that works for them. And they are the ones that choose the time when they are available, not you. They choose it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So
yeah, and confirming it a couple times. Okay, and then it's about, okay, so you've confirmed an appointment, so what do you send them? And this is where it's really important to be sure of that you've checked out the tools. Make sure that you know what there is. So have you watched all of ISA movies? Have you seen all the movies? Because they do change. They want to make sure you're up to date on all the movies. It's important to know when you listen to podcasts are fantastic. So if you're listening to them yourself once or twice a week, do you know where the podcasts are found? Yep. So if you listen to 1 or 2 a week, then you may have certain ones flagged because you're like, oh, that'd be really great for so-and-so. Or like I have file folders. I've got like, you know, athletes. I've got, you know, busy moms. I've got like, you know, for weight loss. I've got, you know, business gym owners. I've got different podcasts saved for different people. So you can start to do that. You don't have to get overcomplicated on it. But when you listen to one that you think is really awesome, or you think of a person who might be great for it, even now, I'll just say, hey, you know, someone who hasn't committed to the program or someone who hasn't, you know, wasn't their time or whatever, I'll just say, hey, I thought of you today. I thought you might really like this. And I'll just send it. Okay, just to keep the seeds, you know, growing underneath the surface, right? So that they can be really, really great for that. Looking at the tools. Maybe some people like to read things. So maybe, you know, some of the brochures or some of the, I don't say spend a lot of money on that stuff, but if you happen to have some of those things on hand, you have some that you've received in your pack or whatever, some people might like to read it. Some people may want to listen, and some people may want to watch. So get a feel for it. How do you like to learn your information? Do you like to read? Do you like to listen, or do you like to watch? And then you can send them the tool accordingly, depending on that, okay? And then once you've had, you know, they've had their chance to watch it because you set your appointment when you're going to follow up, you're going to follow up with them. And when you follow up, you know, that's a whole different conversation that we can get into as far as the follow-up goes. But when you follow up, one of the best questions to ask is, did you get a chance to look at the information that I sent you? What did you love about what you saw? Not what, you know, what did you think? What did you love about what you saw? you know, and that can get the whole conversation starting. All right. And, you know, you can ask them, do you need any other information to get started, basically? And it may be that they're going to want a little more information. There may be a few more conversations before they actually decide. It may be that you're going to be like, you know what, that's a really great question. I'd love to get you on the phone with a friend of mine because they know a little bit more than I do about that. So when could you be available to speak with my friend so-and-so, right? You use a three-way call. You know what, I think that's, you know, I'd love to help you with that. There's someone who I'd love for you to meet. And are you available on Monday to come to my friend Tara's house? Because Tara has these great get-togethers, and there's other people there that have totally been where you are. It'd be so awesome for you to meet them. You know, get people out to an event. Use another method so that it's like third-party validation. So it's not just coming from yourself if you feel that that would be beneficial for them. Okay, is that helpful? Keep in mind that typically the first time you share information with someone, they're not going to say yes. They're not going to be ready to get started. Typically, it's anywhere from 3 to 7 probably, or 10 conversations. It could be anywhere from like a day, 2 days, to a year, 2 years. I've had someone 3 years later text me, don't ask me any questions, call me at this time, I'm giving you my credit card number, I'm ready. Okay then, we're not gonna have a conversation, we're just gonna go here, okay? But she was watching Facebook. She was just paying attention, right? So you never know, we can never judge, right? We can never judge anybody or anything. And then, celebrate every no, do the happy dance. Celebrate every yes, do the happy dance. And know that, sometimes it can take a lot of no's to get to some yeses. I was listening to Kathy Coover on the isogenicsbusiness.com today, and she was saying in one of her first companies, and her first company, I think, it's crazy, but she signed up 468 people in 5 years to earn her first $1 million. She was talking to 60 people a week. So do you think she heard some no's? Because that's a lot of conversations, right? So it's like, even if you scale that back, okay, I'm going to talk to, 2 people a day, right? And if you talk to 2 people a day, 4 days a week, for 4 years, all right, that's like 400 conversations a year or something like that. And over the course of the 4 years, it's like 1,600. Some will be the same people, some may not, all right? And this is Richard Brooke. He wrote The 4-Year Career. These are the stats that he did. He determined that doing that, 2 people a day, 4 days a week, you're following the systems. You're sending them information. You're following up. You're continuing to follow up. You're going to keep following the systems. After 4 years, you can be guaranteed, on average, to earn about $10,000 a month residual in your business from doing that consistent action for 4 years. So totally worth it, right? Now, what's cool is if you do the calculation and you divide that $10,000 by the conversations, it's $500 a conversation. So if I said to you guys, I know you're nervous, but I know you're going to practice your connecting. I'm not going to pay you right now, but I promise you, Leslie, I'm going to pay you $500 for every conversation that you have. Could you have a few more conversations? Yeah. Sweet, right?
It's funny that you mentioned that. We're doing exponential relations in my math class right now, and it's all about exponential growth. And we do an example to get the kids the mind shift around like what exponential power is. Mm-hmm. You say, would you rather have a penny now doubled like every day for 30 days, or would you rather have $1 million up front?
Right.
And a lot of people will say, well, I'd rather have $1 million right now. But in essence, like you're making like $6 million after 30 days. But like after 10 days, like it's not even $10. Like you got nothing. Mm-hmm. After 20 days, like you're in the thousands and you're like, whatever. But after 30 days, so like the longer amount of time that you put into this, like you have to reap the rewards. It's mathematically impossible. If you continue doing this, it is mathematically impossible not to be successful.
Completely.
So like forget I'm a math teacher, like it's mathematically impossible. If you do this business and you treat it like a business, it's mathematically impossible to be unsuccessful at it. Yeah. If you follow the systems. Period.
Exactly. And it's compound effect, and it applies to everything, right? Yeah. It applies to everything. So what I'm going to leave you guys with, because I'm not sure where we're at with our time, but we can leave it open for questions and stuff, is that, that is a compound effect. 2 people a day for, 4 days a week. That is a compound effect of, multiplication of a penny, right? The compound effect of you sharing with, you may sign up X amount of people in your personal team and you're personally enrolled, but your team will be exponential growth. So the amount of people that it's going to grow into is going to continue to grow. It applies into the as well, even from a health perspective. A cheeseburger a day or cheeseburger a day, or cheeseburger a week even, let's just say that. Once a week is not a big deal, but you do that for, decades, or you do that even for 15, 20 years, you're going to probably run into some problems. You eat isogenics consistently, in combination with a healthy diet, good food choices, the compound effect of that, we see people at events all the time that look younger every time, because we're creating a new body every 7 years. So it's like, what are you fueling yourself with? So planting the seeds. You may not be stellar. Are you going, babe?
Yeah.
Bye. You may not be stellar. Bye. You may not be stellar at the conversations or feeling like you're really at that place right now. You don't really have your groove yet, but keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it, because whatever you've done for a profession or career or any course you've taken or, anything, like you're awesome, but I'm sure you weren't an awesome teacher day one.
Well, I sucked day
right,
one.
Exactly.
Terrible. I was just,
totally.
Pooping my pants.
Yeah, completely. I mean, I remember, when I started teaching classes, step was like the worst for me, because when I taught my first step class, I tried to memorize the choreography, and I was like so screwed up, and everyone was so screwed up, and it was just like I left there feeling horrible. And I ended up, getting like 120 people in my classes because I got really good at it. But it didn't happen overnight. There's a compound effect of what's going to take place. So here's the thing. Come from your heart. Every morning, close your eyes. Take a moment and say the affirmation. And think about, who can I serve today? Who can I help today? Because this is a gift. We all know how much it's affected our lives. And we all know people who you hear different stories all the time. And every time you hear a different story, it's like every event we go to, we hear new stories. There was amazing stories again this weekend. Every time we go, we hear stories of how isogenics has completely transformed someone's life. And there are so many people out there that are praying for solutions every night. So get out of your head, like Kirsten says, and get into your heart and just talk to people, connect with people, and just be open and allow them to feel comfortable with you to be open. And then, beautiful things can happen. So I hope that was helpful. And I'm going to open it up. If you guys have any questions, or you want to have any conversation, or you want to practice or whatever, then we can do that. Everybody good? Okay. Was it helpful?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there one little thing that kind of was a nugget for you that was a good takeaway? Not to put you on the spot, but was there one thing that you might
kind of have to do my 30-second story and kind of into the conversation about it, to approach people about it.
Yeah.
To weave it into a regular conversation, because I would have just had a conversation and,
yeah.
And I'm fairly new to it, so it's not, it hasn't been that big of a part of my life for very long. So that's good to keep in mind.
Yeah, you're not weaving it in to sign them up.
No.
You're weaving it in for it to be maybe a solution that could help them. Right? Awesome. Did you have anything specific that was helpful?
The affirmations, I think, for me, were really helpful. It might remind me of when I was looking for an apartment in a short time, getting stressed out, and I literally one night just wrote out all the things that I wanted in an apartment, and something just came up. I think somebody had already, their deposit fell through, so it was last minute. We actually looked at it, but there was no hydro on the second floor. We're like, this is perfect. And literally, I looked at that list after we moved in, and I checked every single thing off the list. So it just shows, if you put your mind and your energies into what you want, that power can really bring it towards yourself.
Oh, so true. Whatever you put your energy into, is so put it into what you want.
Exactly.
Right? Not what you don't want. That's awesome. That's great. Good. Well, I'll be excited to hear what happens for you as a result of your new affirmation. Cool. That's good. All right. Thanks for your input, everybody. Thanks for the shares.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, everybody at home. My head's been chopped off the whole time. I hope that you got something from this. And I'm going to stop the broadcast. Bye for now.